All right, let's talk about those words that always make you pause. You know the ones. Is it fewer or less? Affect or affect? If you've ever had that moment of hesitation, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to tackle some of the trickiest words in English, and by the end, you'll be using them with total confidence. Okay, let's kick things off with a little test. Look at this sentence right here. Which word do you think fits in that blank? Really think about it. Got an answer? Well, hang tight, because by the end of this, you won't even have to think twice about it. Look, this isn't about memorizing boring grammar rules. Think of these words as tools, right? Powerful tools that make your communication super clear. We're going to break them down so they just become second nature to you. Okay, let's jump into level one, tricky sound alikes. These are the sneakiest ones, I think. Words that sound exactly the same but mean totally different things. And here's the kicker. Your spell check, it's not always going to catch these mistakes, so you got to know the difference. First up, accept versus accept. They sound so similar, it's easy to mix them up. But the difference is huge. One is all about receiving something, and the other is about excluding it. So let's look at accept. It's a verb, an action word. When you accept something, you're basically saying yes to it. You're receiving it, you're agreeing to it, you're taking it in. So in this example, did the teacher accept your report? We're asking if she received it. Simple enough, right? Now, accept is the total opposite. It's about leaving something out. Like, I'll eat anything except mushrooms. This is a classic. Desert versus dessert. Seriously, this one gets everybody. Is it the hot sandy place or is it that delicious cake after dinner? It all comes down to one little letter, S. But don't worry, I've got a fantastic memory hook for you. Just remember this. You always want a second serving of dessert. So it's got two S's. The dry desert only has one. Easy. All right, next up we've got a pair that's all about time and motion. Past versus past. One's an action, something you do. The other, well, it's about time itself. Okay, here's the deal. Past with an ED is always a verb. It's the action of going by something, like I passed my exam, or the car passed the house. Past, on the other hand, refers to time, like in the distant past, or direction, like go past the stop sign. So if it's an action, it's past. All right, you're doing great. Let's level up. Welcome to level 2, nouns versus verbs. This is where we look at words that are spelled almost the same, but one's a thing, a noun, and the other is an action, a verb. First up in this category, advice with the C and advise with an S. They even sound a little different if you listen closely. And that one little letter change, it flips the entire meaning from a thing to an action. So check out these examples. I advise you. That's the verb, that's the action of me telling you something. But if you ask for advice, you're asking for the thing itself, the noun. Here's a little memory trick. A wise person will advise you. They both have that S sound. Okay, people, this is it, the big one. The heavyweight champion of all word mix-ups, affect versus effect. But you know what? We're going to nail this one down for good, right here, right now. Okay, here's the key. Just remember this little acronym, RAVEN, R-A-V-E-N. Remember, affect is a verb, effect is a noun. So, affect is the action. The storm will affect our plans. Effect is the end result. The effect of the storm was a power outage. A is for action, E is for end result. Raven. You won't forget that. All right, we're on a roll. Let's head into our final level, action and comparison. Nailing these words will make your writing so much sharper and more precise. Okay, fewer versus less. This one's actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. If you can count it, use fewer, like fewer cookies, fewer cars, fewer mistakes. If you can't count it, if it's just a big lump of something, use less, like less water, less time, less homework. Can you count homework? No, so it's less. Now for the infamous lie versus lay. This one can be a real headache, but let's break it down into a super simple check. First, ask yourself, is someone or something resting? If the answer is yes, like I'm going to lie on the couch, you use lie. Okay, step 2. Are you putting an object somewhere? If so, you lay it down. I will lay my keys on the table. And here's the real secret, step 3. Lay almost always has an object right after it. You lay something. You don't just lay. See? That's the key.
Okay, you've made it through the training grounds, you've seen the rules, you've seen the examples. Now it's time for the final test. Let's see what you've learned. You ready for this?
Okay, first question. Check out this sentence. Where do less and fewer go? Just think back to our rule. Which one can you count, and which one is just a concept? I'll give you a second. And the answer is less violence and fewer crimes. Did you get it? Violence is a concept. You can't count it, so it's less. Crimes, you can count them. 1 crime, 2 crimes, so it's fewer. Perfect. All right, here we are, full circle. Back to the question from the very beginning. What is the right word to fill in this blank? Is it then or than? The answer is than with an A. And here's why, so you never forget it again. Use than when you're making a comparison. They both have an A. Then with an E is about time. They both have an E. So this is bigger than that. First we do this, then we do that. You got it? So we've gone through a lot of these tricky pairs. And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but does it really matter? Does anyone actually care? And the answer is absolutely yes. And it's not just about being a grammar nerd, I promise. When you use the right word, it's not just about getting it right. It's about clarity. It means people know exactly what you're trying to say. No confusion. It makes you sound more professional, whether you're writing an email or a report. And honestly, it builds credibility. It just shows you know your stuff and you care about the details. So, getting a handle on these words, it's a massive step. It's about making your communication more powerful. And it really does boil down to this. The smallest words can make the biggest difference. So with that in mind, I want to know, what other words always trip you up?